It's over. Do you understand? In that profession, once you ascend to where Conor has ascended to, he's probably worth a couple $100 million. Now, to set that aside, you know what? I'm going to get it out the mud. I'm in the trenches, and I'm going to go train, and I'm going to get kicked in the mouth. I'm going to get elbowed, knock my teeth out. Do you understand how hard that is?
There's no check for $250 million. So he kind of went right down the list of joking. He's kidding. You're not supposed to believe any of that to be true.
Conor McGregor has just sent a brutal warning to Logan Paul ahead of their fight. He will make $250 million for fighting Logan Paul, according to the Irishman himself. In December, McGregor disclosed that he had entered into early-stage negotiations for a potential boxing exhibition match against Paul, set to take place in India. He added fuel to the fire last week by reacting to an article about his alleged $500 million fight deal with Paul at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium, posting an Indian flag alongside a heart emoji. According to Fightbook MMA, both fighters are set to pocket an extraordinary $250 million each as part of India's ambitious Visit India tourism initiative, tied to a high-profile mega-fight. McGregor now appears to have revealed the exact sum he'll earn for stepping into the ring against Paul, the YouTuber-turned-WWE sensation. Conor McGregor tweeted on X, saying, $250 million, I'm coming. The tweet was shared along with a picture of Paul dressed in WWE gear and an Indian flag. Since fracturing his leg against Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 in July 2021, McGregor, 36, has not participated in his main sport, mixed martial arts. He was scheduled to fight Michael Chandler in the main event of UFC 303 in June 2024, marking his eagerly awaited comeback. Their bout was called off after McGregor sustained a toe injury during a sparring session, and efforts to set a new date ultimately fell through. In November, his path back to the octagon grew even more tangled when a high court civil ruling in Dublin held him liable for misconduct. Nikita Hand emerged victorious in her legal battle against the ex-UFC 2 Division champion, securing $248,603 in compensation. In one of the most significant crossover combat sports events ever, McGregor has only engaged in combat once inside the squared circle. He squared off against the unbeaten legend Floyd Mayweather, who entered the ring with a flawless 49-0 record and left with an unblemished 50-0. The high-stakes showdown promised a staggering $410 million prize to be evenly divided between the two fighters. McGregor made about $130 million, while Mayweather took home the most of the money, at $280 million. At the time, it marked the largest purse ever offered for a fight. However, if McGregor's claims hold any truth, a showdown with Paul could set an even higher record. Paul's boxing career has been far less eventful compared to his brother, Jake Paul, who stepped into the ring with Mike Tyson before a crowd of 72,300 spectators in Texas and captivated 60 million viewers streaming on Netflix last November. The WWE superstar previously faced Mayweather in the ring, battling him for several rounds in June 2021, though no official victor was declared. The 29-year-old squared off against his former rival, who is now his business partner, KSI, in two intense bouts between 2018 and 2019, an era that marked the dawn of the rapidly expanding YouTube boxing phenomenon. Paul's sole professional boxing match so far ended in a split decision loss, following a 2-point deduction for hitting KSI while he was on the ground. Meanwhile, an industry insider in combat sports recently revealed that talks are underway for a boxing showdown between Conor McGregor and Logan Paul, tentatively set for April 2025, with the UFC playing a key role in the negotiations. Following a leg injury sustained during his July 2021 UFC 264 bout against Dustin Poirier, McGregor has not yet returned to combat sports. In the summer of 2024, McGregor's much-anticipated return seemed imminent when UFC officials revealed he would headline UFC 303 against Michael Chandler. Yet, the Irish fighter withdrew from the highly anticipated showdown shortly after the announcement, citing a toe injury. McGregor's recent posts on X hinted that the Paul fight was nearing finalization, yet many fans remained skeptical about the UFC's position on the match. In the latest episode of the Misfits News podcast, hosts Ben Davis and Beal tackled some pressing questions. Beal revealed that the UFC had played a role in the negotiations for the McGregor vs. Paul matchup, adding that the authorities were eager to see it unfold by April of this year. Beal, referencing a reliable source, shared that deep negotiations were underway for the fight, with both Conor and Logan expressing interest. He mentioned that they were aiming for April, adding that the UFC was also involved in the discussions and that everything seemed to be progressing in the right direction.
It is 80% likely to happen. Now, Ben, there's a couple things that interest me. April and the UFC.
Yeah, I think the big conversation here was that Dana White and the brass would have to be involved for this to occur, much like they were with the Floyd Mayweather fight, which is kind of funny because Dana has stated several times, I believe, that he would never do this again. This co-promotion, this boxing, endeavor just was not worth it to him. But it seems like, yeah, they might be locked and loaded to do it again. And April 2025, that's a lot sooner than I think most people would have guessed. But, again, the rights are up for the UFC. We don't know where they're going to be heading.
In addition to his impressive reported net worth surpassing $1 billion, Floyd Mayweather Jr. also holds the record for earning the highest sum from a single combat sports event. According to reports, Floyd Mayweather earned approximately $275 million from his 2017 showdown with Conor McGregor, setting the record for the highest earnings by a combat sports athlete for a single bout. A recent update on X from the Mac Life revealed that McGregor is poised to approach this amount, with projections suggesting he could rake in around $250 million for his upcoming fight with Logan Paul. They said Conor McGregor and Logan Paul are to feature as part of a historic Visit India tourism campaign. As the pair clash in Mumbai's iconic Wankhede Stadium, the two will be well rewarded for their efforts, with McGregor set to walk away with $250 million, making the fight one of the most financially rewarding in history. Former UFC fighter Chael Sonnen unleashed a passionate tirade, dismissing the likelihood of the fight ever happening. The MMA analyst was stunned that a single family would pour such a substantial sum into promoting their nation's tourism. On Saturday, the bad guy revisited the topic, asserting that the Ambani family had reached out to him, asking him to shift the story's narrative. Sonnen shared his thoughts on his YouTube channel, expressing that he remains puzzled by the rumored Conor McGregor vs. Logan Paul fight. In his mind, the fight does not make any sense, yet that within itself doesn't disqualify it. He revisited a point he made earlier, where he questioned the logic of a family investing $500 million into a boxing match between two non-boxers for the purpose of boosting tourism in their country. Sonnen went on to discuss his discussion with the Ambani family, who validated his suspicions. "These guys got a hold of me directly. When these folks got a hold of me, that was the first thing they let me know. No, you got that part of the story wrong, Chael. This is not about India, and this damn sure isn't about tourism. This is about this family." And they put the name out. It is about this family building and adding to its esteem and recognition internationally, claiming that the fight was never about tourism, but rather publicity for Ambani to increase their global reach and influence by staging the event. In recent years, the Ambani family has strategically expanded its presence in various sports to bolster their global influence. Mukesh Ambani, chairman of Reliance Industries, secured the top spot on Forbes' list of the world's wealthiest sports owners in 2023, with a staggering net worth of $83.4 billion. His sports portfolio includes the Mumbai Indians, a dominant team in the Indian Premier League, Mumbai City FC in the Indian Super League, and even a team in esports. Additionally, Nita Ambani, his wife, serves as a member of the International Olympic Committee and played a key role in establishing India House for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Given their increasing presence in the sports world, it wouldn't be surprising if the billionaire family chose to sponsor the Conor McGregor vs. Logan Paul fight. However, Sonnen argues that this would be a foolish move and has once again strongly criticized the match.
Conor McGregor is due to fight Logan Paul, not to be confused with Jake Paul, in India for $250 million each. $250 million is more than Tyson and Usyk combined. Not even close.
The bad guy argued that it would still defy logic to go into that direction. He firmly believes that anyone willing to invest such a significant sum in boxing should align themselves with legitimate fighters. According to Sonnen, with that level of financial backing, even a dream showdown like Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford could become a reality. If you had the biggest check, you would be the one to get Canelo and to get Bud Crawford. You'd be the one to do that if you're doing it under boxing rules, he posited. The former UFC star called it a move so foolish that the only reason the media is covering it is because the move is so foolish. But you care about it enough that you contacted me so I would correct the story, in an angry tone. The American gangster appreciated being contacted in the first place and promised that the Ambani family can count on me as somebody that will discuss the event. However, he made it evident that his outlook will always be against the fight and suggested that, before it's too late, why don't you fire the terrible consultants that you've got? If you want to put on a boxing event, find yourself a couple of boxers. The buzz surrounding a potential Conor McGregor versus Logan Paul fight seems to be fading just as quickly as it emerged. While the general sentiment is that most fans, aside from those in India, aren't particularly excited about the matchup, the whole ordeal remains speculative with no official confirmation. Additionally, with McGregor still having 2 fights remaining on his UFC contract, Dana White may prevent him from stepping outside the organization. For now, all fans can do is wait for any formal news. A source identified as Ghazi Twice shared on X that a reliable tip indicates the UFC, McGregor's promoter, is likely part of the discussions regarding the fight, alongside KSI's Misfits Boxing. Given that McGregor has 2 remaining bouts with the UFC, the fight would require their approval to go forward. At the same time, Paul's contract with WWE, owned by TKO Holdings, the parent company of the UFC, adds another layer to the situation. India, with its increasing enthusiasm for combat sports and the widespread fame of McGregor and Paul, appears to be a natural choice for UFC President Dana White to approve the match. However, the question arises, why Misfits Boxing instead of a more prominent boxing organization? According to one theory proposed by the source, here's a potential explanation. Logan Paul and his business associate KSI made a trip to India not long ago, where they are said to have had a meeting with the influential Ambani family. It's likely that this encounter led to discussions about a potential fight. Sources indicate that the Ambanis are looking to elevate tourism in India, and organizing a major boxing event might be a key element of their plan. When it comes to the event's host, the UFC, which is centered on MMA, is unlikely to venture into the realm of boxing promotions. Likewise, WWE, with its focus on wrestling, would find it out of character to organize a one-time boxing match. This leaves Misfits Boxing, a promotion that maintains strong ties with both Logan Paul and Dana White's UFC, as the most plausible option. Considering Misfits SC's history and its regular endorsement of Paul and KSI's Prime brand, it seems like an ideal stage for the fight. Additionally, with Prime being a sponsor of the UFC, allowing Conor McGregor to face Logan Paul would pose minimal risk to Dana White's rivals. While such a matchup might expand McGregor's fan base, benefiting the UFC, it also mirrors White's earlier choice to sanction McGregor's bout with Floyd Mayweather. Building on this precedent, a showdown between McGregor and Paul, orchestrated by the UFC and Misfits Boxing, appears to be a natural progression. Yet, Chael Sonnen remains unconvinced. Chael Sonnen has taken aim at Conor McGregor's assertion about an exhibition boxing match with Logan Paul, dismissing it as a falsehood. Not a word of it is true, Sonnen declared. He went on to clarify that such events are typically orchestrated by government entities, not wealthy individuals. Additionally, he pointed out that there's no demand in India for a boxing event aimed at boosting tourism. Additionally, Sonnen said that McGregor is still bound by his UFC contract. Thus, it is unlikely that he could fight Paul without the promotion's consent. He further dismissed the reported $250 million payout for McGregor to fight Paul, stating, "There's no check for $250 million, so he kind of went right down the list of joking. He's kidding." Despite new information about the fight surfacing through Misfits News, no official announcements have been made yet. Additionally, the idea of Misfits hosting the fight remains purely speculative, with no solid confirmation backing it up. What do you think? Could it happen?
So Logan Paul's fighting Conor McGregor, but we're getting scammed since originally this fight was supposed to be Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. I don't know who got more scammed, the people that bought Crypto Zoo or Jake Paul. At least we know this fight will be a harder watch than Joe Biden going up the stairs. Regardless, I will still be watching this fight. Make sure to subscribe.
Chael Sonnen further explained that it was important to understand Conor would not be boxing Logan Paul. He clarified that there was no billionaire in India seeking to promote tourism by organizing such an event, emphasizing that such initiatives were typically undertaken by governments, particularly in places like Saudi Arabia in the Middle East. Sonnen also dismissed the notion of a $250 million check, noting that Conor had humorously gone through a list of exaggerations and was not serious, adding that none of it was meant to be taken as true. Sonnen raises a valid point about the impact of Turki Al-Sheikh, a prominent figure in Saudi Arabia's royal court and chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, whose significant financial investments, totaling hundreds of millions, have been instrumental in bringing major boxing events to the kingdom in recent years. Ambani is a prominent sports enthusiast, known for owning the Mumbai Indians, a team in the Indian Premier League, and for founding the India Super League, a major soccer league in the country. Sonnen, however, remains unconvinced that Ambani is investing such a substantial sum to bring McGregor and Paul to India for a bout that seems unlikely to enhance his reputation or provide significant financial gain. Sonnen elaborated that a billionaire willing to spend vast sums of money usually seeks recognition and dislikes remaining unknown. He remarked that wealthy individuals without fame often find it troubling, just as famous individuals without wealth face their own frustrations. Sonnen argued that if someone were genuinely handing out $250 million checks, they wouldn't direct the money toward an Irishman contracted with the UFC and an American contracted with the WWE, fly them to India, and settle for being referred to as Rich India Dude. Instead, such a person would ensure their name was prominently associated with the event, as that recognition would be the return on their extravagant investment. It's clear that Jake's goal is to eclipse McGregor and claim the title of combat sports leading figure. McGregor is well known for having stepped into the ring just once, facing none other than one of the greatest boxers of all time, Floyd Mayweather. The bout, which took place in 2017, saw Mayweather secure a stoppage victory in the later rounds, though he appeared to ease through the early exchanges with his opponent. By that time, McGregor had already established himself as a renowned UFC champion, securing numerous significant victories. However, his journey since then has been marked by a series of ups and downs, both inside the octagon and beyond. While Logan has had more experience in the wrestling ring than in boxing, he notably faced off against Floyd Mayweather in a high-profile exhibition match in 2021, which was held without judges. Amir Khan, a former world champion, spent several years trying to get a bout with Mayweather but was never successful. In light of this, Khan shared with the Sports Daily his predictions for what would occur if Paul and McGregor ever crossed paths within the ropes. He said, "That's not a bad fight for Conor because Conor is actually a big guy. When I stood against him, he's only 10 pounds heavier than me normally, not fighting weight. But he is massive. He's thick. So I think he must walk into the ring around about 175 anyway. So if that fight's made at heavyweight, I think Conor could be fine. If you look at Logan's Mayweather fight, he went into the ring and beat him, so I'm sure Conor could do the same." The two Paul brothers were then contrasted by Khan. He said, "I don't think Logan is as good as Jake. I think Jake's the better one out of them two. Even though he's a little bit heavier, I still think he's very, very beatable. Conor McGregor by knockout because Logan is very limited as a boxer. He doesn't punch as hard as Jake, and his skills are not as good as Jake's, but it'd be massive. But I do think if it was with Jake, it'd be much bigger. Because if you look at Logan, he's had losses, and he's not really looked that great in fights.
What I really want is Conor.
The
I'll put
ideal
the nail
order?
in his casket.
Ideally, if you could have it your way, is it Nate, Tommy, Conor? Is KSI anywhere in that equation
Well, if
anymore?
KSI fights Tommy, he's gonna get knocked out.
Yep.
I guess it's all kind of in the air. Time will tell.
Khan remarked that Jake would make for a more commercially significant fight, suggesting that a matchup between Conor and Jake would generate greater interest. He noted that both Conor and Jake are articulate and energetic during press conferences, which would make for an engaging spectacle, especially given the intense trash talk they would exchange. In contrast, he described Logan as quieter and more reserved, likening him to the quiet kid. Only time will reveal if Khan's forecast proves accurate, but it's worth noting that in a recent Instagram poll among his followers, 63% placed their bets on McGregor to triumph in this crossover fight, an outcome that could be rather awkward for Paul. Meanwhile, Logan Paul has ignited rumors about his boxing prowess by posting a video of his training, fueling speculation that he could be preparing for a showdown with Conor McGregor. The video Paul posted captures him working out at the gym he shares with his younger brother Jake in Puerto Rico. However, his technique has drawn criticism from fans. Paul, currently under contract with WWE and expected to have an expanded role in 2025, has yet to address the speculation surrounding a potential McGregor fight. In the past, he has shown flexibility with his WWE schedule, as seen in his exhibition match against Dylan Dennis.
Conor McGregor came out and said that he had agreed to fight Logan Paul. What is the latest there? What is going on?
From what I understand, there was conversations about it a while ago. I don't know if Conor just woke up in like Ibiza or something like that and decided that he wanted to talk about it today. From the last thing I heard, there was no updates there, so I don't know if he's just, out of his mind and just talking about it. But Logan just had a kid. He's locked in. He's a girl dad. And so, you know, unless there's something that I haven't heard, which is very possible, I don't know what the hell Conor's talking about. But I'll say this. No matter what, I think the boxing world would love to see it. I think we're talking about two very controversial personalities. One loved and hated, two countries, two different fighting disciplines. The world watches that fight. That's another Tyson-Jake Paul. I don't care what you say, people watch that fight. So I want to see it happen, for sure.
Speculation about a possible showdown between Conor McGregor and Ilia Topuria first emerged from a bogus social media profile. Yet, the story gained significant momentum when McGregor himself, along with the Mac Life, an outlet founded by respected journalist Oscar Willis, known for his close ties to the Irish fighter, amplified the news across the web. McGregor later denied the rumors, stating, "The rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon." It's clear that Jake's goal is to eclipse McGregor and claim the title of combat sports leading figure. McGregor is well known for having stepped into the ring just once, facing none other than one of the greatest boxers of all time, Floyd Mayweather. The bout, which took place in 2017, saw Mayweather secure a stoppage victory in the later rounds, though he appeared to ease through the early exchanges with his opponent. By that time, McGregor had already established himself as a renowned UFC champion, securing numerous significant victories.
10 seconds.
Yet, the story gained significant momentum when McGregor himself, along with the Mac Life, an outlet founded by respected journalist Oscar Willis, known for his close ties to the Irish fighter, amplified the news across the web. McGregor later denied the rumors, stating, "The rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. I am in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I have agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon." So, that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.